This is On the Nature of Daylight by Max Richter. Just such a pretty piece of music. Absolutely beautiful. So listening to it, it's pretty easy to just feel like you're lost in the music. And I specifically chose the section that I played because the song is a little bit repetitive, but you wouldn't know it. So I actually played what is the second progression of the whole song and then paired it with the outro or the ending. I was a little bit interested because there are some piano arrangements of this because the original is for string orchestra. And I was a little bit, I guess, disappointed because some of them are just wrong. Actually, a lot of them are wrong, but just slightly. And I knew that there had to be some kind of pattern with this. So I nerded out pretty hard and just decided to listen to it myself and analyze the chord progression and realized it's actually 24 measures long. So if you've ever tried to learn this on piano, because there's not really accurate sheet music, it makes it kind of tough. But it's beautiful nonetheless. So if you are wanting to learn this, DM me and I can actually send you the full chord progression. This whole thing is in the key of B flat minor. So that means it's related to D flat major, meaning it has 5 flats. Any key of music has 7 possible chords, and this song uses all 7 of them. So you have a B flat minor, you have C diminished, you have D flat major, E flat minor, F minor, G flat major, and A flat major. Now, of those 7, the E flat minor and the C diminished are only utilized in the last 2 measures of the full progression. Then in the outro, we're actually just going back and forth between tonic, which is the B flat minor, and the C diminished. Now, I suspect one of the reasons that some of the piano arrangements are slightly wrong is because of what you call chord inversions, and it makes it a little bit tricky to listen to. So a chord inversion means that you have a chord that is a triad, and an inversion means you change the order of the notes. So taking a B flat minor, I could change the order by putting the B flat on top, or change the order again by putting the D flat on top. So what that does to trick the ear is you'll end up having a note on the bottom that is not what you call the root of the chord, because the root of the chord is the name of the chord. So in B flat minor, B flat is the root. So sometimes you'll be having chords that sound out that the root note is actually not on the bottom. So sometimes when somebody might be putting an arrangement together, they might be thinking they hear that root note and think it's that chord, and that's not quite the whole story. Now, what I was doing here a lot of the piano arrangements where you actually can find sheet music are pretty accurate. So this is actually a section that's being played by the violins, and each iteration of it is not quite the same. So again, it gives you that feeling of being lost. But it's just absolutely beautiful. I love this piece of music. So again, if you want to learn how to play the whole thing and you're not sure what the chord progression is, DM me and I can actually send you that. But yeah, this was On the Nature of Daylight by Max Richter. This is Salt in the Sea by the Lumineers. Man, this was so much fun to get a little creative with how this was arranged on piano. There is piano in this song. However, I didn't end up playing, aside from this, I didn't actually play the piano part. I was kind of more or less doing the vocal part and mimicking a little bit of what would have been going on the guitar. But this song is a lot of fun, and it's got an interesting chord progression too, which will be fun to break down. There's really only 3 chords in the entire song, and the main chord progression kind of lasts the whole time, except in the chorus, it plays off of it just a little bit. So it all begins with a C sharp minor to an A major. However, and those chords can go back and forth between each other pretty easily. However, then we go to an F sharp major. And this chord is where things get a little bit interesting. And in fact, it's to be a little bit more exact, it's actually an F sharp dominant 7. And the way that this chord is functioning is it takes the melody in order to make it work. So the melodic notes that are being played, these notes exist in a few different keys of music that contain sharps. So what's happening is, if we consider the fact that this is a dominant 7, this F sharp, that's actually the dominant of B major. So these notes, they actually exist in more than one key. So it actually works to go back and forth melodically between that chord and an A major. There's another reason that these chords work together harmonically. So an A major contains a C sharp and an E, which this is the 5th and the 7th of an F sharp dominant 7. So harmonically, it also works with some shared notes. Now, where things are weird about the combination of these two chords is that an F sharp 7 has an A sharp in it. So that already makes things very weird when we take that chord to an A natural. So it just makes for a very interesting sound, but it's kind of cool how there's shared notes that allow the chords to work back and forth, but there's also the shared notes of the melody that you can kind of cheat and steal from 2 different keys of music. But it makes for a really pretty arrangement of notes. But I had a lot of fun with this. So again, we have C sharp minor and A, and those are the only two chords of the verse. We don't end up getting all of them and actually in the pre-chorus, we end up going to the F sharp 7 and A. So it's almost like that C sharp is replaced by the F sharp, and then all of them are combined for your chorus. And that's kind of the only time that all three of those are actually combined. But yeah, again, this is Salt in the Sea by the Lumineers.